This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the EVP Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Beaker.
Ghosties over here.
And I kidnapped some people and brought them to the recording studio with us today.
We finally got some guests.
We have some guests. We have the Findlays.
Hello.
Huzzah!
We've got Terry and Mike with us. So we're going to be talking about some faces. We want to talk about faces. This was their idea, so if it sucks, it's on them. But before
I'll take full responsibility for
This was
it.
Terry's idea. I'm just over here coloring in my coloring book.
No, it's actually really interesting topic. But before we get into that,
Scared and fascinated.
we're going to have our Scared and Fascinated session with the Findlays. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, like what got you into the paranormal, maybe like your first experiences with the paranormal?
What got you fascinated?
What got you scared and fascinated into the paranormal?
I kind of grew up with it. I have an aunt who is a psychic, and she actually used to go on to K-Bear, and I don't know if she ever went on 107.5, but she went on a couple different radio stations where you could call in and get readings done by her at Halloween time.
Well, that's cool.
And she used to set up at Gardner Village during their Halloween Witches Fest stuff and do readings there. She now lives down in St. George area, and I don't know how much she still is active in doing readings, but I kind of grew up with that in my family. I have a great grandmother that was actually institutionalized because she said she could talk to ghosts.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of
How
runs.
long ago was that? 'Cause that was kind of common back then.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when. It might have been the 40s or the 50s.
I think of 30s.
30s? I don't know.
Back
I know
when
some
insane
people
asylums
today
were-
that should be institutionalized for saying they were mediums.
Yeah, so it kind of runs through my mom's line of the family. So I grew up around it. I don't really remember much happening to me when I was younger. I remember like hearing voices when I'd be like sleeping in my ears and stuff. And then when our daughter came around, there were things that were happening with our daughter that was some big red flags for me. And so I kept telling Mike, something's going on. And she actually got diagnosed with night terrors. I'll use quotation marks because I don't think they were night terrors. I think she was actually physically seeing things. And so then I started listening to a podcast and went to Mike and was like, hey, you need to listen to this podcast because it brings in our religion and you can relate to it more, because he was always really scared of it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. We were in Scotland in this castle, Menzies, and there's like things on the countertop that says trigger items do not touch that they use for their ghost investigations at night. And I'm nudging him like, let's do it. And I could never get him to go do any kind of investigation at all. He regrets it now.
You had all those opportunities.
Yeah. And
You could have touched stuff.
yeah.
That would have been forbidden. It would have made you feel good.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. And so once he started listening to the podcast, he kind of had a more open mind to it. And then I finally said, all right, well, if you're not going to go on any of these investigations, I'm going to go do this public reading. And he's like, well, what if I want to go? I'm like, okay, come. And then he kind of got more into it because he wanted to learn how to protect our daughter. And it just steamrolled from there. It's been nonstop since.
And you guys just got super fascinated.
Mm-hmm.
You got rid of the scared.
Tim
replaced it with
helped a
fascinating.
lot with that too.
I think the second investigation that you came on was one of my potlucks, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
It was either one of the potlucks or it was a public event. But I know it was your second one. The first one was with our friend Caden.
Yeah, it was with Caden. It was a public reading with Caden that we went on.
Both at Benson Grist Mill.
Yep.
And I made you a believer.
No, the third investigation made a believer.
Was that when you actually experienced something? Was that Family Tree?
No. That was that residential.
That was the residential.
So that was the residential in Midvale with the spinning.
The spinning
Oh, the spinny ball.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one with Brandy.
That made me a believer.
I like how you pointed at the bell to remind me that I needed to ring
It was too far for me to reach it.
It's like, you do your job over there, mister.
She knows what it's for.
I still regret, I left all my cameras in the other room on that investigation. My phone, everything was in the other room. And I'm sitting there, nudging people. I'm like, sure would be great if someone could film this right now. All my stuff's in the other room. I can't get to it. And they're like, yeah, that would be great. Castle.
Right. I was on the floor in between your gear and
Yeah, I was nudging Gary, like, hey, be great if we could film this. Too bad my stuff is in the other room and I can't get to it. He's like, yeah, that would be great. Too bad it is in the other room.
As he's holding his camera.
Pull out your phone, pal.
Yeah, after that, I think he came back and he was 100% all in after that.
And then you guys went and got some gear.
We did.
I think they have more gear than we do.
Probably. They
I don't
do
know.
a lot of investigating.
I don't know.
I don't know. You used to have a lot more gear than
Well,
us,
yeah,
but
I mean, after I got robbed,
That's
I don't know what you guys have.
I basically have a Mel meter with a REM pod.
We don't even use everything we have.
I have a K2 meter. I have 3 EMF meters. They're all different types. I've got 2 little like GoPro style, like knockoff GoPro cameras that film in infrared that I never use. I have a laser grid I never use. He's got the Flux 2.
Bunch of EMFs.
So between the two of you, I think the only thing that we have that you don't is Terry has a Boo Bear.
my Boo Bear.
The Boo Bear.
But we love the Flux.
We like the
Flux is awesome. And I want one of those new Ovuluses.
Oh, yeah.
But they're
A lot.
a lot.
The Ovilus 5 or...
5, I think that's what it is.
That's the most recent one. Did you know, like, Digital Dowsing came out and they were going to re-release the Ovilus 3 and they were thinking about selling them for like $1,300. When I was looking at, like, the pre-orders were like $1,300, where the Ovilus 5 was like $400.
This is the one that Ghost Stop's selling right now.
That's the 5.
So they did like a limited 100 run and then said we'll make more after our move.
Because I don't think they planned on them selling out that quick.
Like within hours.
They were wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
They only did 100 because they didn't think they were going to sell. From what I gathered on Facebook, they didn't.
It was a
think they were
test run.
Yeah, pretty much. They didn't think they were going to sell out that quick, and they sure did. So they've been scrambling to try to get more in.
But they made them with Bill Chappell, so
Oh, nice.
they're real legit. Well,
Yeah, he's an
if
engineer.
Bill Chappell's legit, then
Well, I think it's hilarious because they came out with their Envoy like last year, which is supposed to be better than the Ovilus, and now they're doing this with the Ovilus. I've used the Envoy. I've seen people use it. The person I know that owns it is not overly thrilled with it, and she was actually trying to sell it to me.
It's just hard to buy ghost equipment in some places. And even people that resell it, I heard a lot of people have gotten gypped on it and they don't get what they buy.
Oh,
or
no
get
way.
it at all.
That's why we recommend people use our affiliate link to Ghost Stop.
Yeah.
I've never had any problems with Ghost Stop.
No, neither have we. Most of our stuff has come from Ghost Stop. We got some from Amazon. Didn't you get your...
I got my K2
Yeah, his
and my
K2.
Ghost Meter Pro.
And his Ghost Meter Pro
Which you
came from
can't get those
Amazon.
anymore.
But
I got my Ghost Meter Pros from Amazon as well.
Same.
And I sold them to the old team and kind of wish I hadn't.
I still got mine. You can use that anytime you want, bud.
They're okay pieces. They're great beginner devices.
they are.
You
They're
just-
great if you want to put on a show for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a good visual, a really good
There
visual.
has been times where I've actually had, like, when you use the Ghost Meter Pro, usually it will be activated for you to ask yes or no questions for about like 2 to 3 minutes at a time. I have had a session where it was full on activated for about half an hour nonstop.
Wow.
It didn't go off at all, and we were able to sit there and ask questions for half an hour. So they can work, but like you said, I think they are great for first timers that are looking for that instant gratification.
For sure. For sure. Mike's favorites are the dowsing rods, though.
He's a dowsing king.
He is. He actually makes them too.
More like a prince.
Prince
Maybe a
Charming.
little princess.
Prince Charming of the dowsing world.
I'm wearing a skirt.
You are charming.
He's beautiful.
But you guys have a lot of EVPs.
Yeah, you want to do those now?
We do have a few EVPs.
Okay, so why don't you kind of set up like the investigations you were on, where these are coming from? So I know you were saying you recently did an investigation at the Whaley House in San Diego.
We did. Because we're the type of people that go on spring break and then go on a ghost hunt.
That's the way to do it.
That's what I would do if I went on vacation.
Yeah,
I
so...
mean, the last 2 times I went to Vegas, I think the last 3 times I went to Vegas, I've been to the Zach Baggins
Zach
Museum.
Baggins.
So
Yeah, we're going there for Thanksgiving, and we're wondering if we want to go back and do that a second time. Because I know that he will rotate his
Yes.
rooms and stuff, so it's not always the
Actually,
same.
You can do a ghost hunt there, too.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Well, the Whaley House wasn't cheap either.
Oh, okay.
But it
Yeah.
was worth it.
I noticed because I think I went twice, and I know we went in like I think August, and then I went again in December, and a lot of the rooms were different.
Yeah, well,
just from 4 months apart.
Because when you guys were talking about Little Bastard, I was telling you how they had the drive shaft down there, and you guys said, well, we didn't see it when we went.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he had it when we went.
It probably was there, just didn't even notice it.
Well, you would have known because
Yeah. It wasn't.
he has his
okay.
room of like all the famous objects, and
So
then
the Ghostbusters room,
like there's the Ghostbusters
Okay,
room.
yeah.
that's in that room.
It was the second
Okay.
room. He took you. You went in there and they shut the door and they did a whole thing about Little Bastard, and then
Oh.
he raised the curtain and then had the drive shaft behind it. So you would have seen it. You wouldn't have
Okay,
missed
yeah.
it.
So, yeah, definitely was not there.
So, but yeah, so we went to the Whaley House, and for as little of an investigation that we got, it was the most active place I think we've ever investigated.
Really,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. Because
people died there. You know,
yes, it was a shotgun. She shot herself.
there was also the gallows.
Yes, in fact, we where the gallows are at, the archway in the house. When we were standing under it, you could just kind of feel that funny house feeling standing there. And we paid for what, a 2-hour investigation?
Bye.
Oh,
Bye.
sorry, that was a speaker.
Goodbye. Goodbye. We have ghosts. That was our speaker that we're.
That
gonna
was
use.
the EVP.
That was the speaker for the
You
EVPs
gotta
that we're
hold,
going to
hold down the power button, and that'll turn it back on. And it'll say hello.
So if you want more information on the Whaley House than we're going to give you right now, go back and listen to. I think it was our
Yeah.
second or
Yeah,
third
it was-
episode.
Yeah,
very
you guys
beginning.
did a whole episode on that. And but the first like 40 minutes of this investigation, we sat in this house, and the guy that was kind of leading the investigation sat and bragged about himself. And we're like,
My favorite
and it's like,
investigation.
let's go. And so once we got in there, it was nonstop after we were in there. And there was a little girl that we could feel like touching our legs and stuff. And we went upstairs. We were upstairs in, what room were we in?
For which
Where this EVP is from.
you were in the bedroom.
That's right. Annika and I were in the bedroom.
I was in the theater.
Yeah, he was across the hall in the theater. And we were doing our investigation, and you can hear my daughter talking, trying to find out if this girl Amanda was on the Ghost Meter Pro. And we all heard an audible sigh.
So keep in mind, I'm like 50 or 60 feet away from them on the other side of the house, and in a room with a different person, with the tour guide was in there, and
Yeah.
then they had another couple that was in there with them. But it was really hard to cut this EVP because it's about 6 minutes of just constant. There's the actual audible sigh. Maybe I'm giving stuff away, but then there were a whole bunch of just active knocks and taps and snaps. I've never heard snapping like you're snapping fingers, like
Wow.
From
Like in the Conjuring movie?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
No, they clapped.
No, they did the
clapped,
clap.
yeah.
Yeah, it was the
but this
clap.
was like we've all heard knocks, right? And there were a lot of very intelligent, very loud, crisp, clear knocks, but there was snaps, which was weird
Yeah.
That is cool.
because it wasn't us, and
Yeah.
so. But anyway, so you want this one?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Amanda, are you here? Amanda, are you on the Ghost Meter Pro?
Right there.
Did you hear that? Was that one of you guys? Did you guys just make a noise? I heard that. We heard like an sigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we heard it in the bedroom, and they heard it over in the theater room. It was that loud, audibly. And
Can I play it again?
Yeah.
All right. We'll try it again here.
Okay, Amanda, are you here? Amanda, are you on the Ghost Meter Pro? Did you hear that? Was that one of you guys? Did you guys just make a noise? I heard that. We heard like an sigh.
We'll try it one more time.
Yeah, I was trying to do the shave and a haircut thing, and that's what you hear me trying to set up. And then,
Yeah, that's the knocking. you
We've
hear
had
in
the shave
back.
and the haircut work a couple times for us.
oh, it works all the time. I love it.
Yeah.
The first one, and you just finish with.
Okay, Amanda, you here?
Okay, so I'll do the first part, and you do the last two after I'm done. Okay?
Amanda, are you on the Ghost Meter Pro? Did you hear that? Was that one of you guys?
Did you guys just make a noise? We heard a sigh.
It's pretty good.
So what do you think it was? Just kidding.
Definitely a sigh. I don't think there's any hidden messages in that one.
No, it's like Ghost Avengers. Die! Oh my gosh, I said die!
It's a demon. All right, what's the
All
next
right.
one?
So next one, we were at the. This is another great one. We were at the Benson Grist Mill, and our friend Kayleen. You want?
Oh yeah, this one's a really good one.
And I actually mentioned you in this. So
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody?
I don't know if this was one of your potlucks or if it was a paid one with the other group or what it was, but Kayleen was with us. We were at the very, very top of the mill, and we were getting ready to walk down the stairs
Guys,
back
actually,
down the
we're going
bottom.
up.
What?
we were going up the
I
stairs.
thought we were coming down the stairs.
No, I was going up the stairs. That's why I was winded.
Oh, anyways. And Mike was offering help to our friend Kayleen to go up the stairs because she was having a sciatica nerve issue in her leg. And in their conversation, we'll just play it so you can hear what's said. I don't want to give it away.
So keep in mind, this was recorded onto my cell phone, hovering over her little recorder.
Yeah, it was out of her recorder, recorded onto his cell phone. This is how good
Oh,
it is.
okay.
This
So
is
it's
like
kind
a
of
Class A EVP. This one's so good.
So it's kind of a. Really
I remember
bad
this, but I
copy
don't
anyway.
remember what it
yeah,
says.
and it's not one of. It was actually her spirit guide that's the EVP. It's not one of the ghosts from Benson. It's her spirit guide.
You want to go first, Kayleen?
No, I'll bring up the rear.
Short? Go ahead, yes. I'm going to allow her. Are you dizzy to walk?
I'm functioning well.
Do you want help?
I hurt my sciatic this week, that's why I'm gimpy there. But I'm just
So,
super dizzy. It's just weird.
Like quads, fronts, like calves?
Yeah.
Our hearts are like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
That doesn't happen. That's something here. I got a picture of me standing up here in the window with my devil horns on, folded up. So cool.
It's so terrible.
Ow. It's hard. Tim got attacked up
what
here by the
was that
same
say?
dude.
Stop it.
And was lightheaded and everything.
So, out of curiosity, how many EVPs do you think are in that clip?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm sure there's more than the really significant one that we hear.
Yeah, there's at least two others.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's hard to rule those out. For me. But
But
those
that last
ones-
one is actually
that was-
really, obviously,
That last one
very
is
clear EVP.
the Class A one.
what did it say?
Let's play it
Let's
again.
play one
Yes.
more time and
Play it
see if you
again.
can pick it out.
Do we need to shorten it? Is it
Yeah,
too long?
I'll go back to like the middle here. Oops.
I got a picture of me standing up here in the window with my devil horns on, folded up. So cool.
It's so terrible.
Ow. It's hard. Tim got attacked up here by the same dude.
I can hear the voice, but I can't make out what it's saying.
What do you hear, Tim?
I hear a male voice.
Yes.
One more time. I like to do it 3 times.
Okay.
That's something here. I got a picture of me standing up here in the window with my devil horns on, folded up. So cool.
It's so terrible.
Ow. It's hard. Tim got attacked up here by the same.
I can't make out what he's saying, but it almost seems like he's like warning them to get out. But
Well,
I'm complete. I know I'm probably completely wrong.
Well, and it's all hearsay of what we all think we interpret, right?
Yeah.
And from talking about how Mike offering her help, and then her saying how she's been injured, and what we think is it's I help her. But then there's something after that, but we've never figured out what's after that.
It sounds like out.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I help her out.
It's like I help
Like, I
her.
definitely hear the word out at the end, That's why I was wondering if like maybe it was telling you to get out.
Yeah.
But I help her out would also make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's her guide. That's what he does.
Like the word "out" for me was very clear at the very end there.
Yeah, it's I help her.
Well, that's really cool. I don't think I was there for that one. I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, no, I don't remember who all was there. I was there, but I think I was already like way up ahead of you two. So
That was a good one.
yeah, that one's one of our favorites. In fact, the recorder that Kayleen had recorded that on, she ran over it.
Oh no!
She doesn't have it anymore.
Oh, no.
And so she's like, "Can you send that back to me?"
So we upload our files to our computers.
Yep.
Yep.
So you guys have investigated quite a bit of places on your own and with me. While we're going to play a couple more EVPs here for you, but out of all the places you've been to, what would you say? I'm going to ask you two questions. It's a two-parter. So the first part is, what's your most favorite place to investigate, or that you have investigated? And while you're thinking about that, while you're thinking about your most favorite place, what's the place that you like the least or never want to go back to again?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
For me, I like the tree. Family tree was like home to me for investigating. And the reason being is we went there so many times when we were with the other team. And I led so many investigations there.
We went there a lot, mainly
So-
because it was one of my favorite places to go to as well.
And we had so much stuff happen. And then some of the coolest stories and some of the scariest things that I've had happen on investigations have happened there.
So I know one of those things that happened was while I believe we were recording an episode, or we were doing something there, and your daughter was involved.
Yeah, we recorded an episode. We were there. That was when Lurch got the rocks thrown at him in the basement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we all decided it was a good idea to go downstairs.
And leave my daughter upstairs alone.
She was like 13 at the time.
I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened to her? I remember she got freaked out.
While we were downstairs, I didn't realize she had gotten left upstairs alone because I went downstairs first.
I don't think any of us did. I think
it just all happened accidentally.
Yeah.
I don't think any of us realized we were leaving her up there by herself. And we were downstairs, and something happened down there, and I screamed because something scared me. But while she was upstairs, after she heard the scream, all of a sudden she felt completely surrounded by just growls. Like she was getting growled at all around her. And then that was when I finally came upstairs, and she was up there just crying because she just felt like completely enclosed by I don't know what, but being growled at like all around her.
Yeah, and I got growled out that same time. Right before we started recording, I went in the bathroom and emptied the bladder before you sit down for an hour and a half. And yeah, as I was going to wash my hands, a nice loud growl in my ear. Same growl I'm sure she heard.
Probably.
I'm sure you've heard that same growl before.
Well, and while we recorded that episode, there was actually an audible sigh during that recording too. Like there was so much activity during that recording that one time.
Yeah, there was a lot that happened. So that was your favorite place to go. Is there a place that you wouldn't want to go back to because maybe it was boring, or was just too scary, or for whatever reason, just the place you disliked the most?
That I've been to?
That I've been to, or even a place that you don't have any desire to go to?
I have no desire to go to Asylum 49.
You've never been there?
Never been there.
No, we've never
have
been
no
there.
desire to go there.
That's probably the place I've investigated the second most. What? Can we take her?
Absolutely, take her.
Okay.
But the other place I do not want to go back to was Fear Factory. That was just a bad night.
I can agree with that.
See, and I've never been to Fear Factory.
There was plenty of activity there, but there was
Too much freeway noise.
A lot of freeway noise.
I do know that there's a group that's doing a Fear Factory investigation soon.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Going in the summertime, probably a pain in the butt because those buildings get really hot and you're right next to the freeway. So it contaminates any EVPs. However, now that I have my $300 noise canceling headphones, we can do the method that I was corrected on by Miss
The
Terri
Estes
here.
method.
When I called it the sensory deprivation method, I was told that I was wrong.
It's okay. You're not the only one that hasn't gotten it right.
That's okay.
It's okay.
I know now. I did research on it.
Yes.
That's the Estes method is a form of sensory deprivation.
It is. You weren't wrong from your description. You were right.
I didn't know that correct method
Yeah.
terminology. Mm-hmm. It's actually a really effective method, and it's funny because someone sent me a podcast to listen to recently, and it almost seemed like the host of the show was kind of taking credit for coming up with that method, even though they didn't.
I invented it.
There's a lot of people that claim that they have. A lot of people. A certain radio personality was trying to claim that he came up with it too.
Yeah.
They
Not
don't
too
want to
long
get
ago.
something named after them.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can Google it. I don't know the names of the people that actually came up with the method, but the reason why it's called the Estes method, I think we've mentioned before, is because they were doing investigations in Estes Park, Colorado, and in the Stanley Hotel. And that's where they came up with this idea in like 2015.
Yeah, I actually listened to like a 2-hour, like it was like a total like 4-hour podcast of them interviewing the people who created it and came up
And
with
I
it.
think I read the transcript of that
Yeah,
podcast.
it was a really good podcast about it.
So yeah, it's actually a really good method, and I do think like I agree with them at some point where a lot of the TV shows I don't think they're doing it correctly.
Yes.
Which is why I don't know if I bought the right equipment, but I did go buy some like $300 Beats wireless Bluetooth noise canceling headphones.
Yeah, the reason why they say people are doing it wrong is because they're using the wrong kind of headphones and they're not 100% noise canceling.
That's why I went and spent the money on it and bought. I mean, it was on sale for half off when I bought it, so I paid $150 for it. But I did buy like when we were trying the headphones out, we were at the Ritz Theater. By the way, that is coming up. We'll talk more about it at the end of the episode. But when I put on those headphones, I just put it on noise canceling mode. I didn't have any audio or anything coming through. It completely cut out all of the background noise. Like I couldn't hear any of the cars driving by on the street right behind me.
Nice.
And I could see Ghosty and DVO talking, but I couldn't hear anything that they were saying. Like it was very muffled.
Gotcha.
So when you get to the point where I'm actually playing a Spirit Box, an SB7, or the Echo Vox, like that's all you're hearing. It 100% cuts out any other noise. So I think I'm pretty close to having the right headphones.
Yeah, we've even done it where we've actually been in separate rooms where the people asking the questions are in a different room and then the person listening through the headphones is in another room. So you can't really hear what's being asked.
Oh, that's a good idea.
We were in a different building,
We tried it in different buildings. We were up at the Montana State Prison and we were up in the Death Tower, and then we were using the 2A radios and they were asking the questions from the officers.
They were asking, in the office, the warden's office.
The warden's office.
And they weren't asking it over the radio. They were just asking it in the room there, and then waiting for the reply. We just had ours on open.
Yeah.
So
See, that's
whatever
really cool. Like,
we were saying, we're answering their questions.
I've seen them. I've seen Adam and Amy do that on Kindred Spirits. I think I was over here watching that with you. Yeah. We were watching an episode on one of the places we were talking about, one of the prisons or something, and they were doing the same thing. He was out in the street.
Outside, yeah.
He was outside in the street, and Amy was inside. And they were doing it over the 2-way radio.
I think the further away you can get, the more true answers you can get because there's no cross-contamination.
So when you were doing this at the Montana State Prison, what kind of responses were you getting? Did you get any responses that were valid to the questions that were being asked?
No, not really. We didn't.
Did you get any EVPs from the prison?
No. Oh, yes.
Yes, we do have EVPs from the
Not
Montana
from
State.
that, though.
Not from that, but
well,
we
not
do.
from that, but I figured since we're talking about that,
Yeah.
maybe we can play some
Those
EVPs.
were someone that I
or
made
an
him go.
EVP.
I made him go search and
That's
find.
the next one I actually have queued up for you.
All right, perfect. I think we're going in the right direction without meaning to.
You're so intuitive.
We're the best. So what were you doing at this time of the EVP?
Okay, so this one we were over in the warden's office area, and there was just 3 of us that were there. It was Terry and I and another friend of ours, and we were getting quite a bit of action on things, a lot of different things. But this is well, I'll just play it.
Okay.
See what you guys pick out.
Yeah, can you make that other one light up all the way up into the orange? Or even the red? No, I know it takes a lot of energy, and that's cool.
So obviously we're using a K2 meter, and
I heard some whispers.
So let me play it again here.
Yeah, can you make that other one light up all the way up into the orange? Or even the red?
No.
You're doing it wrong.
No, I know it takes a lot of energy, and that's cool.
So what I like about that is, you hear it say no.
Yeah, you do.
But and then it answered on the Ghost Meter Pro, the one click, because we'd been established that as a no. No, I'm not going to do it.
Well,
then I acknowledge that and say,
did you hear both
no.
responses?
There's another one right at the very end.
Play it one more time because there is 2 responses in there.
There's one right after you, or
Can
right
you make
before
that other
you.
one light up all the way up into the orange? Or even the red? No. I know it takes light energy, and that's cool.
Right there.
I think that might have been me breathing.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure that
Because it's cut off right there because that could definitely been a inhale.
Yeah, that probably. I would, just being the skeptic on it, I would say that was probably not paranormal.
Okay.
I can be
Fair
wrong.
enough.
Okay, that's fair.
Debunking. I think that was probably me.
Okay,
Fair
but there's
enough.
definitely that no.
The
Yes.
no is
Yeah.
very...
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That one I heard.
And it's funny because there's sometimes where you have equipment and there's spirits there and they're not interacting at all, and that's just funny when you can hear them say no.
Well, and it's funny because he was going through some of these with our daughter the other night, and she kept getting mad at him for talking over the top of him. She's like, "Would you just shut up?" And he's like, "I don't know they're talking to me. I don't know when to stop."
Yeah.
Right?
I also found it interesting though that she could hear multiple things. So like you were saying, there's multiple responses in there. She's hearing things and listening to the recordings that I still can't hear in the recordings.
That's okay. If there's extra stuff that we're not hearing, I'm sure Brandy will text us and let us know.
Oh, I just thought it was interesting, just her hearing ability.
Yeah.
And then her intuitiveness, she was picking up
That's
on other
good.
things. There was one that I played where she was like, "Oh no, Dad, go back and listen to this." And I cranked it even more, and I'm like, "Holy cow, you're right. That is there."
So it could be you breathing at the end of that one. To me, it sounds like, because you said, I know it's hard, and I kind of hear it is.
Yeah, it
It
very well could be.
almost sounds like the spirit is agreeing with you.
Yeah,
But it could be you breathing too, so I don't know. We'll just talk
I am
about it.
fat and I breathe heavy.
I am fully aware of what
We're
that's
all
like.
there with you. I'm right there with you.
You're not fat.
I am.
I'm part Squatch. So.
I thought you were going to say, "I know, I'm very aware you're breathing heavy now."
No, I literally I hold my breath while we're recording.
So you
I don't
breathe heavy.
I don't breathe.
You try to hold your breath.
So I've got one more from Montana, or I can do a different one from Family Tree.
Let's do Montana and then we'll go into family tree.
Family.
The last
We'll
one.
go into the family
Montana
tree.
and
So two
family.
more.
Montana and
Okay.
family tree.
So this one, I don't know what it says.
This is why we don't edit.
I have male mumbling is my
I like it.
note. So you tell me if you think you can figure out what it
Okay.
says.
Okay, so if we give them to my husband who originally had them and you went talk with him, will you talk with him now? Because he is really good with the dowsing rods just like I am.
Yeah.
Okay,
go for it.
so let's give him a try.
All right.
Okay,
I couldn't hear it there last time. We try it one more time. It's after she asks and before we go, okay, let's give him a try.
okay, so if we give them to my husband who originally had them and you went talk with him, will you talk with him now? Because he is really good with the dowsing rods just like I am.
Yeah.
Okay,
go for it.
so let's give him a try.
All right.
Okay,
It's in there.
It was right after she stops talking.
It's very quiet.
very quiet.
I would put that as a class C.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you
not-
can
it's not
tell
a
that
great
there's something there, but there's no way to make it
That
out.
was
Okay.
in the hospital, wasn't it?
That was in the old
Yeah, it was in the
hospital,
old hospital.
All right, this last one is probably, it's a class, I have class B written down in my notes, but honestly I think it might be more of an A. Because it's very clear, and we were at Family Tree Restaurant, and we're talking about the little boys who drowned in the ditch.
Okay.
And, come on, play kids. There we go.
The little boys in here, in the room with us.
Sounds like they're
Hold-
counting.
Play it again. You need to calm down.
The little boys in here, in the room with us.
So it's not in order, but I'm hearing numbers like 1, 4, 3.
One more time. What do you think, Tim? Or do you want to hear one more?
One more time. I know what I think it says.
I know what it says.
I don't want to dilute the listeners.
What you think it says.
Well, when you're listening to with like big headphones on, and it's not kind of, I mean, this is played through a speaker through a microphone. So I mean, it's much more clear when you listen to it with headphones. So here, we do it one more time.
The little boys in here, in the room with us.
Yeah, he says, yeah, one.
That's it.
Right. Yeah,
one.
Is there any boys in here with us? Yeah, one.
Yep. Tim got it.
Yeah, I could hear that, but it sounded like there was more to it.
There might have been, but that would have been Class C. That I would put that as a Class A. For me, it was very clear. I heard it the first time you played it. To me, it was very clear. He said, yeah, one. He was answering your question. Anything after that, if there was anything after that, I would put it as a Class C. Because you can kind of, I don't know if it's like background noise or if it's him kind of mumbling or whatever, but the yeah, one to me is very clear. I'd put that as a Class A.
I wonder if it's like, 1-4, and I heard something.
Well, it would just make sense. It's like, are there any of the boys here? Because there were like 2 or maybe 3 that had drowned. I think there was 2.
I think
There's
it was 2.
2 that
And he
drowned.
said, yeah, one. It's like, okay, cool. Funny thing is, we didn't hear it at the time.
Nope.
So we're just waiting for the responses on the Ghost Meter Pro that you hear clicking.
And we were sitting in the back dining area at
Back in
Family
the
Tree.
banquet hall.
Not over in the banquet hall. We were over in the main dining area, but in that back area.
The other banquet room.
Yeah.
The other banquet.
The
hall.
other.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I had the door slammed in my face. Have I ever talked about that?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
On the so for those of you that have been to Family Tree, and for those of you, I'm going to try to paint a word picture here. When you walk in, there's just a dining room right there, and then towards the back, like there's a hallway off to the left that goes to the bathrooms, and then there's 2 sets of doors that go into like a back banquet room there, kind of like an overflow room for the dining room on the main side, and they've got one set of doors that's over by the bathrooms, and then another set of door that's over by the kitchen area. So they could just come out of the kitchen into the dining room. So we had these doors propped open, and I was going to exit on the side where the kitchen is, and the door all of a sudden just swung closed and almost hit me in the face. And I tried to recreate that. I propped the door back open exactly how it was. I was jumping up and down. I was doing everything I can to get that door to swing closed again, and I could not.
Tim, you've had so much crap happen to you at that place that's funny that's the big one that you're talking about.
Well, this is
because funny enough, I was listening to prepping for this, right? And one of the ones I was listening to, it's not cut. It's like an hour and a half. So I'm like, all right. It's because I was in the basement, and Terry came and running and grabbed me. Mike, I need you because Tim just passed out.
That was when you were cleansing.
Oh yeah.
And you got the attack and fell on the floor.
This is true.
Yep.
Yeah, that happened.
And so I left the recorder running down there because I just kind of dropped everything and ran upstairs. And while we were gone, there were some whispers in the empty basement.
They're probably laughing.
And you could hear some things moving around, but no, it was just funny because like you've had much worse than just a door slamming loose on you.
Well, I've seen stuff like when I got my first camera, I had it set up pointing at the kitchen, and one of the investigators that was on the team at the time, we were both watching the viewfinder on my camera, and we both saw a man walk in front of the camera. Like, on the viewfinder, we saw him, and I was like, holy cow. So I immediately stopped it, rewound it, and it wasn't on. It didn't translate over.
It didn't record it?
No.
Wow.
But it was on the viewfinder. We both saw it, and I was like, that would have been probably some of the best evidence I could have ever gotten at one of my first investigations.
Oh, shit.
And for some reason, it didn't translate over to the recording. But
dang.
Yeah, I've had a lot happen at Family Tree. But the door slamming is just, when you were talking about where you were at when you got that EVP, it just reminded me of that, is that door slamming in my face.
That's part of why we love that place, though.
I wish we could still go
so
there.
much stuff. I know.
Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for her, but Leslie, it was time for her to retire, so
yeah.
She sold
Has
it
anybody
off.
tried to go back and contact who owns it now?
Last I heard is the new owners were trying to make a vegan restaurant in Santa Quinn, Utah.
But I heard they're trying to sell it. I don't know if they're trying
I
to sell it
think they're trying
again.
to sell it again. I'm not sure.
Really?
A vegan restaurant?
Vegan?
Yeah, in Santa Quinn.
Yeah, that ain't going to work.
It might work in like Payson or a little farther north up in like Springville or Spanish
Provo.
Fork. Provo even, but not in Santa Quinn.
No.
Santa Quinn's a farm town.
Yeah.
Everybody's
No offense to
raising-
anyone in Santaquin, but it's basically a heck town.
Yeah,
You're
they're not going to go vegan.
You're not going to get a vegan restaurant.
Everyone's raising some kind of
They're
animal to
raising
eat.
animals for profit down there.
It's like I said, there's no internet in Twilla. There's no vegetables in Santaquin.
Nope.
Meat salads.
Yep.
Okay, so I think that was a good amount. We got, 5 EVPs? That's more than we normally play on the EVP podcast. We're going to try to get more.
You told me to come prepared.
I did. Yeah, you were one of the few guests. I'm like, come prepared.
A whole slug.
So, thanks for sharing those things,
Yeah.
your stories. But let's get into our topic now.
It's a short topic.
Goodbye. Peace
speaker.
out. Bye, speaker. Thank you for your help.
It was a topic that I was really hoping that I could get a lot of information on, and there's not much for it still being something happening today, which is shocking.
That's still going on?
Apparently, I actually just watched a YouTube video last night of a lady who was there a year ago.
Yeah, I just watched that one. Too.
Yeah.
I was listening to another one that said that stopped in like 2004.
Well, that's when she died.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
She died in 2004, but it's still a phenomenon happening now, which confuses me that if it's still happening now, why haven't like TV shows gone in there and done something?
Well, why don't we let's jump into it and let's tell people what we're talking about so they're not
Belmez
lost in
faces.
We're just like, it's still going on today. What
Yeah.
is? We don't
What
know.
is it?
You won't know either.
It's the Belmez
And
faces.
that's the end of the show, folks.
Go look it up. Do your own research.
So I said we're going to talk about some faces, not our faces. We're going to talk about the Belmez faces.
Yeah, the Belmez faces.
Now that we've all said it.
Yeah.
And this is in Spain.
Yes. Yeah, it's in Spain. I'm not exactly sure where I know that it's
Belmez.
It's in Belmez, but I'm not sure where at in Spain Belmez is. If it's like the topper part, the bottom, I don't know where it's at. I sucked
It's
it.
there.
It's
there.
in Spain. It's in
Yeah,
Spain.
that's all they need to know.
And it all started in August of 1971. A lady named Maria, I do not speak Spanish at all. Maria Gomez Camara. Sure, sounds right.
Sounds about right. Yeah, let's do that.
She noticed there was a stain forming on the floor in her kitchen, and it's a concrete floor. It's not like laminate or tile. It's a concrete floor. And she noticed that the stain turned into a face, and that not only that it was a face, but it would move positions and change expressions. And she would try to scrub the face away, and nothing worked. And so she showed her husband and her son, and so their solution of getting rid of it was taking a pickaxe and tearing up the floor.
That's the best way.
Right?
This
It's like,
damn cement ain't.
if it's not going to go away, we'll just tear it out.
Out damn spot.
So after they took a pickaxe to it, they poured new concrete, and they thought everything was going to be fine. But within a week, a different face appeared on the floor.
Brand new face.
Brand new face. Yeah. And so at this point, the rumors started spreading around and they started calling it the House of Faces. And everybody wanted to come and see for themselves what was happening in this house. And I heard some people say that they were charging people to get into it, but I also heard that they weren't. So I don't know if they were actually trying to make a profit.
Depends if they knew them or not.
Right. I don't know. But, once somebody starts charging to try to make a profit, that throws red flags that it's a scam. In my mind. Because if I had something like that, I don't know if I would really charge money.
Well, it's family.
So, but then because everything that was happening, the mayor stepped in, and instead of tearing out this new floor, he wanted to actually cut out where the face was at and do some testing on it to find out what could possibly be causing these faces. So they cut out the floor, and they went and did some testing on it, and
Was it inconclusive? Like there was no reason?
there was, let me see if I can find it here.
Demons.
Yeah. Well, we can get to that because after they removed it, they were like, well, what could be causing these faces? And so they decided to excavate the kitchen, and they dug down, how many, was it like
9 feet or something?
9 feet, 10 feet down, and they found skeleton bodies down underneath the house. And then they sent the bones to go be tested, and the bones came back that they were 700 years old. So they don't know if it was from like
War
the
or
Spanish War or how long these bodies had been down there, but most of the bodies didn't have heads. there was no skulls with these bodies. And so they were thinking that
Well,
maybe...
that's normal.
Yeah, right? Decapitate people, send the head one place, and then bodies to another place.
There can only be one.
Well, Highlander 2 was in Spain, wasn't it?
Probably.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I thought
It's
the
been
Highlander was...
You're thinking
In
of
the
the Highlands of Scotland, but
part 2. I don't remember what part 2 was.
well, no one does.
So, but then after they took those bodies and they moved them to like a close church and reburied them, moved them. So they thought that was going to solve the problem. Poured another new cement. But this time, it took, I think it was within like a month. More faces showed up this time. And they were different between like women, children, men.
Yeah, it was looked like portrait, like a whole like scenery there.
Yeah. And like there's one where like it's like a lady holding a child, and so that launched like a whole big huge scale investigation. And then when they did the study on the cement, they couldn't find any pigment or dyes or any paint strokes or brush strokes or anything in it. Tim's looking at the pictures of the faces right now.
Yeah, this one's from 1992.
Yeah.
For you YouTubers. The ring lights.
Yeah.
There you go. YouTube, that's one of the pictures. Or one of the faces.
So then their next solution to try to figure out why, if it's a hoax or if somebody's coming in and doing this, they came in and they sealed the floor with plastic and then sealed all the windows and doors with wax. So like it was protected. So if anybody broke in, they could tell that it was tampered with. And they sealed off the house for 3 months. But before they sealed it off, they came in with like a TV crew and cameras and videotaped and took pictures of everything that was in the house, all the faces and everything that were there. And then when they came back 3 months later and they reopened the house and pulled up the plastic off the floor, everything had changed, had moved, and was different from when they left it 3 months ago.
The stains are dancing.
Yeah. So another thought that could be causing it is, have you heard of thoughtography?
No.
Yeah. That's one of the thoughts of what's causing, was causing it, was thoughtography. That Maria was the one that was making these faces appear with her mind. It's like using your mind through thoughts and then making the photograph appear.
Nah, I don't buy it.
So, because they were saying that some of the faces would look like her, and like the faces would be more predominant when she was there versus when she was gone, they would fade. And depending on her mood, would change the looks on the faces. But the thing is she died in, was 2004?
2004, yeah. At like 85 years old.
But if the faces are still happening, how is she doing the thoughtography?
Exactly.
Well, I heard they did the plastic test like twice. They took it up the first time because there was like condensation, there was water in there.
That's for, yes.
And one of the theories is that the faces were being caused by water leaking through the cement and making the faces. I don't know how accurate that is. I've never personally tested to see how much water can go through concrete. But I know they did the test twice, and both times like there was condensation underneath the plastic. I also heard that they built a second kitchen for the family.
Yeah. So the one guy felt really guilty about constantly using the Maria's kitchen to do all this investigation. They're like, why don't we just build you a second kitchen? So they built her a second kitchen, and then faces started appearing on the floor in the second kitchen too.
It's probably from her shoes.
she's walking around and
Some kind of oil.
well, here's the thing is like when they were doing these tests and they had the plastic on the floor and all that, they had cameras in there too.
Yeah.
So they were able to rule out if someone was actually physically going in there.
Yeah. And they said that it was featured on a TV show called, I can't even remember what it was called. I tried to find the episode and it's not available anymore. I couldn't find it anywhere. But for something as big as they claim this is, why isn't there more, like why hasn't Ghost Hunters been there? Not that I like Ghost Hunters, but they seem to go everywhere.
Right.
Right?
Or at least like
Well, see, I
Let's
would
do
think
another patch, do another section of concrete.
Yeah.
After they lay it, put a camera on and watch it for like 2 months.
I think some of the best people to go and investigate something like this, especially when they think it might be just water coming up through the concrete, why not have the plumbers go out there and look into it?
True.
Or geologist or whoever
Yeah.
does work like
I
that.
know they did testing for like all the different irons, like zinc and stuff like that could be in it that could
stain.
That could stain it, and the levels weren't high enough to be conclusive that that's what was causing it too. Like all the studies that they've had, either were inconclusive or they didn't do it right. But if it's still happening today, it's like why can't they figure it out? Because what we have available today in 2013 versus 1971 when it first started is so much different. The testing that we could do now versus back then.
And from what I can see, that it was a Spanish television program that went and did an investigation there in 2014.
Yeah.
And that's the most recent thing. Here we are almost 10 years later.
Imagine ghost hunters going there. Aaron's going to go sit in the room by himself. And the other one was like, it says die! Oh my gosh!
That would be Ghost Adventures.
That's what I said.
You said ghost hunters.
Oh, I meant ghost hunters.
I would prefer that ghost hunters went there.
No, I would too.
Like I said,
would too.
send the plumbers.
Those are the plumbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I get it now.
I trust the tap. I trust the taps crew.
You know they work for Roto-Rooter, right? You've met them.
Yeah,
you have a picture with them.
So, but yeah, I mean, apparently you can still go. I don't know if they charged you to get into the house because there was, like I said, the lady that was there just a year ago that was touring through it and was showing the faces and stuff. I haven't really confirmed if they're actually still changing and appearing, but they're still there on the floor. They haven't gone away. So, but I don't know if they're charging and making profit off it because I've heard both sides of it. And I know that there is an EVP recording from one of the investigations. I heard it, and it was just a mess. It sounded like street noise, and because they claim that it sounds like the depths of hell. This is what they were saying it sounded like. And out of all the podcasts I listened to, only 2 of them actually had the EVP play. But it really seriously sounds like it's just a recorder on the side of a busy street. Because it's just a whole bunch of noise.
Sounds like hell. I hate traffic.
Well,
that is hell.
From what I've noticed is when you got a place that's like supposedly really haunted, cities pop up around them. I was like really surprised. I don't know what I was thinking when I went to the Winchester Mansion and saw that it was like really right in the middle of busy streets.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there was busy streets around this house. Mm-hmm. You probably that's all you're getting is it's the demons.
So like after hearing it, because I was gonna try to clip it and bring it, and I was like, it's not even worth playing because it's garbage. It really is. It's just a whole bunch of just noise. And I listened to it a couple of times. I'm like, how can they claim this after the EVPs that we listened to today? I don't know how they can claim that is an
Whether
EVP.
they even hear anything?
Because it's just noise. It really is just noise.
Truly professional investigators going and doing this for us. We want to thank you for your time and dedication in bringing us garbage noise as EVPs. One of the things I thought was interesting when I was listening to another episode, podcast about this, they talked about how it was like 1972 when the Spanish government was having some of these investigations going on.
Yeah.
They got one of the journalists to just run an article saying that, it was a combination of like silver and zinc and a bunch of other chemicals that were creating these faces in the concrete. Now there is some speculation that the Spanish government just kind of wanted to sweep this under the rug, so they basically told this guy, make it end.
Yeah.
Say it's just this, so we can put this to rest.
Why didn't they just buy a carpet for the lady for her kitchen? I mean, come on. Just a cement floor.
What's funny is those guys on the other podcast said the same thing. It's like, I just throw a carpet on it.
Yeah.
It's like every now and then I'd pull up the rug and see if there's faces.
I listened to that one.
Talk to them.
It's the same one where they said they should have built a third kitchen to see if it
Yeah,
happened.
it's that same one. Yep, a third kitchen to see if it would happen in the third kitchen. So I mean, and then there was also rumors that the son that helped pickaxe the floor, that he was the one that was doing it, because that's why it continued after the mom passed away. But I don't
probably.
I don't know how true that is. And then there was somebody that said that yes, there was brush strokes, and then another one said there was none. So it's a lot of like back and forth. But that's where they're like saying that it was profit to bring just travel to the town, to make profit for the town in general, because they're coming to see this House of Faces that's going to bring in money to restaurants and hotels and the surrounding areas. So
those sneaky people.
Because like that one picture that you showed almost looks like something was just dropped to create that.
Honestly, looking at a bunch of these photos, and I'll put them up on the social media.
Like ink blots.
Yeah,
dropping it to create.
Looking at some of these faces, like this one right here. For those of you on YouTube, it will also be on social media. Like I just don't see a face in this.
You don't see a face in that? There's like an eye there.
Just a horrible artist.
There's a
nose.
Horrible. It's more like a Picasso face.
Looks like a 3-year-old drew it. These ghosts, they need to learn how to paint. I can kind of see it, but...
What if the ghost actually looked like that? That's what the guy looked like, and you're making fun of him.
Well, then I'm making fun of the ghost for looking like that.
You have no heart.
Probably not. I mean, he's droopy-eyed.
It would be interesting to go there and actually see them in person and just kind of see the feel of the house.
It would be. Let's go to Spain.
Do it.
We'll add it to the list of places that we say we're going to go and we'll never go.
One day when we travel the world.
Right.
When I strike it rich.
Well, in the YouTube video, the lady was from England. She came 5 hours to go and see this house. So I don't know if I would. I don't know. I might.
Was it Amethyst Realm by any chance?
No, it was not Amethyst Realm. No, it was not her.
I could do a whole episode on that crazy lady.
Yes. Do it. So yeah, like it's for as long as this has been happening and still continuing, I'm shocked there's not more information and more conclusive investigation.
They probably know. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we're really good friends with Zach.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna get him there.
Mm-hmm. Just turn around and say hi to him next
time. See if he can. Yeah, right. We'll see if he can get him to bring home one of the
faces.
The faces.
Yeah.
Put him in his museum.
Put it in a museum. That would be cool.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
See if it actually
honestly,
changes.
That's not a bad idea. Let's email him.
Okay.
See if it changes faces in his... maybe he'll actually start getting faces in his museum on the floor.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
In his kitchen.
New plan.
All right, well, should we call that an episode?
I mean, we could. Is there more? Do we have... That's it?
I don't got any more.
It's apparently still going on. We should go check it out.
Yeah.
But, you know, I would like to know if y'all have checked it out. If you have, you can email us your stories, evp.pod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on social media, Facebook and Instagram, evp.pod as well. You can check out our awesome affiliate link to Ghost Stop. That's where we buy all of our ghost hunting gear. And we've got some stuff in the works to kind of showcase some of the stuff that we have.
And then look out for tickets coming up for next month.
For the Ritz.
The Ritz.
We have it confirmed. We finally got a hold of our contact. Within the next week, hopefully, we'll have tickets available for sale on Eventbrite.
All right. Ghost, you don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
Say something.
Bye.
Something.
This is the EVP Podcast.